Hello and welcome. Today I am going to go over what you should do and some information you should know to prepare for your new Great Dane puppy to come home. I have recently done this and know firsthand how it is. The first thing you need to know is that your puppy will be small and cute when you first get them, but they do grow very large very fast. A full-grown Great Dane will weigh around 150 pounds. In my opinion, the most important thing to find is a good quality dog food. You will hear from many different people and many different sources of which brand is the best. However, what is really important is the top 3 ingredients should not be a grain or corn product. With a Dane, it will need to have a high protein content between 24 and 27%. While we are on the subject of food, you are going to need to keep in mind that as they grow, they will need an elevated food bowl. This is so the dog can reach the food without having to bend over or lie on the ground to eat. You also should know that after they eat, they need to lie down to digest the food. If they run around, the intestine could wrap around the stomach and potentially kill the dog. You also need to be aware that your Great Dane will consume a lot more food than a normal dog. Be sure to look at the back of the food bag to see how much they recommend you feed. Just remember that is only a reference or a starting point. You will need to adjust their food accordingly, while always being observant to be sure they are getting enough food and not too much. Now that you have the food, your dog will need a place to sleep. Remember, they are going to be very large. Your best option is to buy the kennel they will need when they are full grown, along with a divider to reduce the room they have to move around. This will also come in handy with potty training. You will need a lot of space for a kennel this size. Now that they have a bed and food, you can buy everyone's favorite item, toys. As a puppy, they can have smaller toys, but as they grow, you need to buy size-appropriate toys so the dog will not swallow or choke on them. Some good toys as a puppy would be sturdy, solid chews for when they start to lose their teeth. Don't forget about the squeaky toys either. Another option for toys is to get rawhides. Not only are they good for when they start losing their teeth, but when they get their adult teeth, it will help keep them clean. It also does a great job of keeping them occupied while you are away. Plus, they see it as a treat or a reward, which makes them happy. And we all know a happy puppy is a good puppy. They will also need a lot of interaction. This does not mean running around. You can play with them and their toys. Great Danes are very docile in nature, and to keep them that way, you need to interact with them on a daily basis. Having different dogs and people interact with them will also help a great deal. Be sure to always have a watchful eye when introducing them to new people and dogs. One important thing to remember is that your puppy will continue to grow until they are about 18 months old. For this, you are going to have to closely monitor and restrict their physical activities. Being very large dogs, they are prone to various hip problems. Another thing to be ready for is the vet. Yes, no one likes the vet, but your puppy will need a vet that has knowledge of giant breed dogs. Make sure to ask if they are familiar with Great Danes, as they are accustomed to breed-specific diseases and injuries. Without a good, knowledgeable vet, these could get overlooked. The vet can also help you out with the decision of cropping their ears or not. Cropping means getting them cut to stand up, and no, they do not stand up by themselves. There is a lot of care and maintenance that goes into making sure they stand up correctly after you get this done. It is a personal preference whether or not you choose to do this. Another topic that is good for the vet would be the option of getting the males neutered and at what age. Many people and references will tell you for them to grow as big as they can to wait to get it done, while others will tell you that age does not matter, but it is good to help curb their bad habits they tend to get. Just to prepare you for the vet, I will admit that it can get pretty costly depending on how young you get your dog. They will need to be vaccinated, tested, and go in for checkups. All of this can get a little overwhelming if you go into it not knowing that you may need to take your Great Dane to the vet almost every 2 weeks. However, after they reach 1 year of age, they only need to go in as needed. Now, as far as leashes and collars go, you will need to buy different sizes as they grow. It is best to get adjustable collars and keep an eye on them to be sure they do not get too tight. With leashes, you can buy one that is lightweight as a puppy but will need to upgrade to a heavy one as they get larger. Also, You are going to need to think about when they go to the bathroom. If you have a house, then you just need to buy a big shovel and a garbage can. For those of us that live in apartments or don't have a yard, you're going to need to buy waste bags. Be sure to buy lots of them or very, very large ones. Grooming is often overlooked with Great Danes. Don't get scared, they are very easy to groom. They have short hair that does not require a lot of brushing. You will need to wash their ears to make sure they do not get too dirty. The worst part of grooming would be their nails. They also grow large like the dog and can be very painful and damage furniture. You may think that because they are a very large breed dog, they are going to drool and slobber like all the other large breed dogs. You could not be more mistaken. The only time they drool is after they take a drink. Still then, they do not drool for a very long period of time. Even if they lick your face, you do not end up with a bunch of slobber all over you. Now that you have all this in order, you're going to need to get your house ready. As I stated before, your puppy is going to be very large very fast. So you're going to need to move all objects and breakables off of coffee tables and low shelves. They have a very hard tail that when they get excited start swinging around and can do some damage. You also need to know that stairs are one of their worst enemies, as they are not used to walking up or down them and can get tripped up easily and potentially tumble down the staircase. The best route for this is to carry them up and down until they are big enough to do it themselves or they get too heavy for you to carry. In addition, if your house has a lot of tile or slick surfaces, you are going to need to place rugs on them so your puppy does not slip or hurt themselves. Danes are very clumsy and awkward with their long legs at such a young age. This could be a major problem when they grow up. Thank you, and I hope this information helped you out, and enjoy your new Great Dane puppy.